Hello, and thank you for taking the time to listen to my story. My name is Daquan, but most people call me DQ nowadays. I have been working in entertainment as a performer for the past 19 years. And while living life as a professional artist is one of the most rewarding things a person can do, very few people get to earn a substantial living as a full time artist. I am fortunate enough to have traveled the world and got to perform in some beautiful venues and theaters and events, but I was never in it for the money. And frankly, I was happy to be a somewhat starving artist because I knew that the money would come in time. I was following my heart, and I'm happy to say that I don't regret a thing. Now, on March 13th, 2020, everything shifted. One by one, I was getting texts, calls, and emails that all of my bookings were being canceled due to social distancing in an attempt to flatten the curve on the spread of COVID 19, the new mystery illness that is at the center of the world's attention. I lost everything that had been in my calendar for the foreseeable future. I think 7 or 8 gigs that day. My industry effectively shut down that afternoon, but I didn't have a plan B, and it was almost a miracle that there was even a plan A for me. Let's take it back to the beginning for some more context. I was born in the summer of 1983 in Columbus, Ohio. I grew up mostly at my grandmother's house since she was the matriarch of my family. My mother was a single parent of 3 children, so I spent a lot of time at my grandmother's house on Raynor Drive. It was a 1,000 square foot, 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom, split level house in a lower middle class neighborhood on the last street on a dead end at the back of a subdivision called Somerset, zip code 43219. And even though we were directly adjacent to a couple communities that, to my recollection, would have qualified as housing projects, my memory of early childhood was that we had everything we ever wanted or needed. I didn't realize until I was around 12 years old that we were poor. I hadn't learned until last week that the zip code where someone is born is the biggest determiner of their upward mobility. Now, what is upward mobility, you may ask? Upward mobility is someone's potential to climb the socioeconomic ladder. In other words, it's their chance at achieving the American dream, and that's huge. The fact that simply by being born in a particular place, even in the United States in the year 2020, you can essentially never have much of a chance at all to accumulate any wealth or influence for your family and your future generations of offspring. Does that sound like liberty and justice for all? No. Now, many things factor into why zip codes play such a major role, but according to Kate Warren, a research associate at the Center for Community Solutions, where you live matters. And she quotes, "It confirms that if you grow up in a mostly poor community with a high percentage of people of color, you are less likely to have access to opportunities you'll need to succeed later in life. That's access to education or a 2-parent household, for example." End quote. Now, in zip code 43219, the median gross household income today is only $38,000, and the community is comprised of 77% African American residents. So, on paper, I never really had a chance. The data suggests that I'll make less than $1,000 per year, and that's probably because I was born with a 47% chance that I'd be incarcerated right now. Now, learning that information did 3 things to me. Number one is it filled me with gratitude that for whatever reason, I managed to transcend what the data said my life would be. And it also allowed me to forgive myself for some self-destructive behavior that I exhibited in my past because I now know that I was doing the best with the cards that I was dealt. And it also lit a flame in me to work harder and smarter to break some cycles in my family and in my community. And that's the reason I created this fundraising campaign. I have a plan, but I need some help in executing it. My plan is to create upward mobility for me and my family and leverage that improved socioeconomic standing to positively impact not only my communities, but the entire world. Now, here are the details of my plan. I will invest in the most important things, which are skill acquisition and education. I have a passion for tech, and in my research, I've discovered that jobs in STEM fields, which stands for science, technology, engineering, and math, have a median salary of $85,000 after 5 years. I am now in the process of enrolling in a coding boot camp that will prepare me for a job in a STEM field by teaching me programs such as Java, HTML, C, etc., which are computer programming languages. Those are hard skills that are very valuable in today's job market. These are skills that companies pay top dollar for. The Coding Bootcamp is an accelerated program that will require me to dedicate 6 to 8 hours per day, 6 days a week for 3 months to complete. But once I'm done, they will help place me with a company. Now, the tuition structure is based on an income share agreement where I pay nothing for the education up front, but the school gets a set percentage of my salary for a set duration of time once I find a job in my field making over a certain amount of money. The school is invested in my success, and they're incentivized to find me a job because they don't get paid if I don't get a high-paying job. Now, not everyone gets that chance, though. Before the school accepts me and invests in my education, they want to be sure that I will be successful in the program, so I am a good return on their investment. If they know that I have the freedom to dedicate my time to excelling in the coursework, they are more likely to accept me into the income share agreement program. And that's where you come in. You, my community, I need you to buy me 4 months' time. That's all I need from you is 4 months. 4 months of not being concerned with how my basic needs will be met. That will give me the time to drill down and focus on acquiring skills that will change the trajectory of my life and the lives of those who come after me. Now that brings me to the next part of my plan, the bigger picture, my why. I promise you that by investing in me, you will allow me the freedom to use my wealth and resources to do 2 major things. Number 1 is I will self-fund my dream of opening a wellness center that will promote physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. But more importantly, I pledge to, in 10 years, find 10 people who are where I am now and pay forward the generosity, support, encouragement, and love that I am asking for in this moment. I will do whatever I can in my circle of influence to empower those 10 people to achieve far beyond what their zip code tells them their limits are. If you believe in me, if you believe in the power of community, I ask you to help reach my $6,000 goal. I promise you that your generosity will be leveraged to positively impact the world for generations to come. Thank you.